Hello everyone, welcome to this workshop. Thank you so much for carving out time in your day to dedicate to learning a little bit more about how to master your learning method during this time. I'm so excited to have you in this workshop today. My name is Courtney Fowles. I'm going to be your facilitator and walk you through this. I am a counseling psychologist with CPUT's Student Counseling. Our topic for today is called Lockdown Learning, Mastering Your Method. So that's what we're going to be discussing in depth throughout this workshop. Okay, so we have some aims for this workshop today. Because all of you have shifted from contact learning, learning around friends in the classroom, and now you've pivoted into this remote learning, learning from your room, in res or at home. It's really tricky, and we're going to try navigate this online learning that's happening during lockdown. So we need to learn how to manage your time really effectively from home, and we need to set goals in order to do this so that we can deal with and meet those deadlines that we have coming up. And in order to meet these deadlines, we need to create boundaries for distractions that are popping up all the time and taking us out of our academic flow. And that's what we're going to be looking at cultivating today. So, these times are pretty interesting, I know. And today we want to look at goals. So your purpose, the things that you are wanting to do in life. And we can start big. These are our big goals that I want you to just take a moment now to think of. Like your future self, how do you see it? Where do you see yourself ending up? You can even write it down. These are your big dreams for the future. So we call them our macro goals. Maybe you can think of one of your macro goals. Maybe it just pops into your head as I speak about it. Then we need to break it down a little bit further, because in order to achieve these macro goals, we need to start small. We need to start with things called micro goals. These are things that are achievable within the next 6 months to 5 years. And these are our stepping stones in order for us to reach our macro goals. Let's look at some examples of micro goals. So maybe we know right now, today, and for the next few months or weeks, we need to really work hard on our assignments and meet our deadlines. We need to try pass all of our exams, and maybe we have some goals about passing with certain marks. This is going to take us to the next level of micro goals that might be a bit longer, like graduating with this diploma or this degree that you're working on, or interning in the field that you want to be in, or finding a job, or even creating one. And that's all going to lead you to your macro goal, your dream job. Now let's break it down even further to progress goals. So progress goals are just things we're going to focus on in our day-to-day, week-to-week lives. So that is looking at the work you do today. This is part of your micro goals, which is then part of your macro goals. So within these micro goals, we have to break it down so that our brain believes it's possible, because it's just too overwhelming for the human brain to see the big picture. It gets really overwhelmed out of fear, and then it shuts down and says, no thank you, not gonna do that, it's too hard, and watching series or scrolling through TikTok feels better. So we have to trick our brain. We have to break it up into bite-sized pieces that make exams and assignments seem more digestible and approachable. So these are called our progress goals. They help us achieve our micro goals, which in turn help us achieve that dream. And it's simple. We just need to follow a smart method of setting these goals. So S is for making these goals very specific. What is it that you want to accomplish? So maybe you want to finish this assignment. Make it measurable. How will you know when you have accomplished this goal? So maybe you're going to know because all that weight that's on your chest is going to be lifted off. Make it attainable. Okay, so how can the goals be accomplished? I'm going to make study timetables and I'm going to write down my goals so that it helps me motivate myself. I'm going to have affirmations that create positivity in my mind that keep me going. Make it relevant. Is the goal worth working hard to accomplish? Yes, because it's helping you get closer to that macro goal, that dream. And then make it timely. By when will the goal be accomplished? So the assignment needs to be done by next week, Monday, for example. And I like to add an extra R so we can make these goals even smarter. And this is to reward yourself. So do something for yourself. Maybe you can give yourself a little hand massage, or you just give yourself credit saying, well done, you made progress today. If you finish that assignment on time, go watch your favorite episode, guilt-free. Let's admit it, most of us procrastinate. We don't all willingly want to do things that don't give us instant gratification, so we put them to the side. And I'm sure most of you have been in procrastination. Maybe you spend a lot of time in Napland or on Surfside, or sometimes on I'll Get It Done. Or maybe you have visited the range of excuses one too many times. But as you can see, the exports from procrastination are just things like denial, feeling so guilty, or maybe just finding justification not to do it. I know, we've all been there. However, procrastinating often increases these feelings of guilt, stress, and anxiety, but sometimes it doesn't increase them enough to motivate us to actually start working. We do it out of fear. Fear that we may fail, fear that what we're going to do won't be perfect, fear that we don't actually understand what it is. But trading in temporary relief for long-term anxiety and stress is not a smart investment, as you're just stirring up the worry circuit in your brain. And there's a bit of neuroscience behind it all. We have our instinctual brain. This is our limbic system is in there, and this is responsible for flight and fight and emotions and memories and giving us immediate pleasure or pain in situations. This is our limbic system. Then we have our prefrontal cortex. This is where we store our goals, our morals, our dreams, our abilities to think of abstract thoughts and concepts, and our distant goals. However, when it comes to procrastination, it's the limbic system that's the fastest processor in the brain. So if it sees that something looks hard, it communicates to the brain that this means death or that this is scary. Let's try avoid it. Danger zone. So by the time your prefrontal cortex catches up, you've already put the assignment off. And sometimes it looks a little bit like this. So you get an assignment and you know it's due on Friday. So you plan it out. You say, Monday, I'm going to do a quarter of the assignment. Tuesday, I'll do another quarter. Wednesday, I'll tackle that third quarter. So that by Friday, I'm completing that assignment and no stress because I've broken it up so nicely. Oh, we wish, because then Friday comes and you have to do the whole thing. Unfortunately, there's no simple solution to procrastination. Long-term solutions involve neuroplasticity. So we're going to look at that. And that is rewiring our brain by down-regulating our limbic system. So we're going to try quieten that response down, slow it down a little bit more, so that our prefrontal cortex, our rational thought, actually wins the race, and that when we see the task, we just get started on it. But neuroplasticity can take a long time, so even though we can start that today, it could only pay off in a year or two, depending on how much work we put into it. So let's focus on what we can do now, because that approach isn't going to cut it for the upcoming assignments and exams. The good news is we can do certain things now. Let's take a look. Meditation. Okay, there's many ways of meditating. And the point of meditation is for your brain to enter a different brainwave known as theta, which then shrinks our amygdala, our fear response, which distances us from our emotions and fight or flight response. This also takes consistent practice though. So we can link this meditation to a current habit that you've set up. For example, after I shower, I sit down for 5 minutes and meditate. And then I congratulate myself for learning this new habit. So this is going to help us still our minds. It's going to activate some really good rest and digest settings in our body, which is known as our parasympathetic nervous system. And it's going to quiet down the alarm response in our body and in our brain. If you would like to start incorporating meditation into your daily routine, you can download meditation apps on your phone like Calm or Insight Timer. You can follow guided meditations on YouTube, or you can simply try and sit still for a few minutes. Then we have our 5-second rule. This was developed by Mel Robbins, and this requires you to act on something within 5 seconds of hearing or thinking about it. In essence, bypassing your limbic system altogether. So we're trying to trick your brain into acting before fear, uncertainty, or doubt takes hold. So all of us have this 5-second window. And when we see that thought pop up and it says, oh, I have to go work now, I have to go study, then we just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you just get started. You just sit down and say, I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes. And you just start going. You don't allow yourself to start bargaining and saying maybe you'll do it later. You just get going. That's the 5-second technique. Then we have our Pomodoro Technique. This is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. He used a kitchen timer shaped like a pomodoro, which is Italian for tomato. He divided the time he spent working on a project into 25-minute intervals with 5-minute breaks in between in order to get more done without interruptions. This again is breaking projects into nice bite-sized pieces so your brain can easily comprehend it. It simplifies your work, it improves your productivity, and it enhances your focus. This is a tried and tested method. Here are some steps to the Pomodoro Technique. Step 1 is you're going to set out tasks with a 25-minute timer. That's 1 Pomodoro. You'll work for 25 minutes, you'll hear the alarm, you'll record your progress on the Pomodoro, then you'll take a short break. You'll go back to work. Then you'll take a longer break once you've completed 4 Pomodoros. And you repeat the steps from 1 and so on. This can all be managed by downloading the Pomodoro app. So if you really want to try this way to crack your procrastination, just download it. Okay, our next section is all about creating structure. It's very important when learning from home that you can find a way to structure your time on a day-to-day basis, and that you can create a timetable that breaks down your work into manageable units. So, none of us can be 100% productive for 24 hours of a day. We all have windows where we focus really well and others where our attention and energy lags. So take a moment now to identify your productivity window. Mine is for 3 hours from about 8:30 to 11:30 in the morning. And then if I have something due or I've got something to work towards, I have another window from about 12:30 to 2. I'm not the greatest at focusing in the afternoons, so I would use that time for less intense studying or other things on my to-do list. That would look like me actively researching, writing notes and summaries, and mind maps during my window of productivity, and then maybe reading through the notes later, or recording them on my phone and listening to it play back while I did the washing or clean my room. But you need to find when you work best. When I was a student, I would have a sneaky productivity window again at night after 9 o'clock, but now valuing my sleep is such an integral part of my health, so I focus on using my daylight hours as best as possible. Now, this is the ideal, and sometimes I'm not operating at 100% productivity, but it's important to look into why that is. Where are your needs not getting met, and how can you address that to focus on the task at hand? So I just want you now to identify that productivity window for you. Now we know the hours when we work best, and we know how we want to invest our energy to serve us. So let's try draft out a timetable that utilizes those hours for studying efficiently. First, I just want you to use your calendar to put what assignments and exams you have when those due dates are, just so you can see them visually. Then you're going to create your study plan, your timetable, and that's going to be broken down even further. So your timetable, it has all your deadlines on it. You can see that. Now you need to break up the work you're going to be doing per day in order to reach those deadlines. So in order to have studied for your exam at 9 o'clock on Thursday, you need to have done 3 readings and summaries by Monday, hopefully in your productivity window. You need to then do 4 chapters and summaries on Tuesday. And Wednesday, you're going to be drawing mind maps. You're going to be having discussion groups virtually with friends. You're going to be synthesizing all of this information together so that by the time you reach the exam, you are feeling like you know what's going on and there's no high levels of stress or anxiety. On Friday, you know that your assignment's coming up next Monday, so you're going to start researching for that, doing readings, resourcing. You're going to be summarizing readings on Saturday and starting to draft up your assignment. And Sunday, you're going to spend up writing and reviewing that assignment to hand in. So that's a way we can break down our timetable. And again, this is looking at the ingredients for our meal that we're making. We need to know each ingredient first in order to make the whole dish. So you need to divide your time up into those components so that it comes together at the end of the day. And then you get that satisfaction of just crossing through the days once you've completed those items on the list. Oh, such a rewarding feeling. So now you are on Monday and you know you have these 3 readings to do. So you need to create some structure for your day. This is your study plan. This is listing what is needed to be done on that day in order to tick off the activities on your timetable. And you're going to put these intense activities in your productivity window. For example, I'm going to wake up at 6:30, meditate, do some light yoga or stretches. I'm going to eat something nourishing and get ready for my day. By 8 o'clock, I'm going to sit down to work. I'm going to have short study breaks, but I'm going to finish my readings and summaries and mind maps by the time it gets to 12, where I'm going to take a break and eat a balanced meal. Then later I'm going to start watching lectures, writing notes, and summarizing my notes so that in the afternoon I can go for a nice walk or do a little bit of exercise and then have some time to relax before dinner. If that doesn't work for you, you can also use the 5-minute journal. This goes through your day by naming the time, the place, the date, your energy level. Is it low? Is it high? Why is it this way? Maybe you didn't get enough sleep last night. What can you do to feel more energized? Maybe you can have a cold shower. Today my top project is working on an assignment. The project matters to me because it's a step towards my macro goals. One small action I can take to move towards that is working on researching for that. And then on the other side, you're going to just dump into the brain dump section all the things you have to do that aren't essential or important, but you know you have to get around to it. And then you're going to plan your day within your productivity windows. And my favorite part is the confidence corner. That's just going to boost your levels so that you are motivated to continue learning. By looking at what you learned yesterday, what you're grateful for today, and what challenge you're going to give yourself today. So maybe today you're only going to go onto social media for 30 minutes at the end of the day once you've completed your assignments. Next, we have to tackle boundaries. Because being at home or in res, or just having access to social media and the internet at our fingertips creates a never-ending list of distractions or things you could do to avoid studying. And it's so normal to get distracted. We just need to accept that, stop judging yourself for it, and let's take action steps now so we don't end up on a YouTube marathon before we even begin our work. So firstly, I want you to imagine a bowl, one that you can hold in your hands. You get given that bowl every morning when you wake, and in it is your energy for the day. How you choose to spend your energy is up to you. When you look back on this time, do you want all your energy going into social media or fights with friends or family? Or do you want to keep some of that energy to build you up into the best version of yourself? So if you look at your energy bowl today, where have you already invested or given away your energy? Do you find that you easily get distracted? Or that you drop everything when someone else calls? Or you put things off till the last minute? If yes, then you definitely need to set some boundaries. And these are things like saying no. You need to learn to say no to the things that do not serve you. You need to safeguard your productivity window. So make sure that you put a do not disturb sign on your door, or that you download content on your computer so that you don't have to go on the internet, that you can put your phone on airplane mode, that you wake up on time, and that you create a buddy system. That's telling someone that you trust about your goals and deadlines that you have and asking them to check in on you to hold you accountable for them. Knowing that someone else is checking in on you can motivate and discipline you to work. Now let's look at how we're going to start managing your time from home. How do we shift from learning amongst friends, sitting in classrooms, listening to lectures, consulting with professors, to learning from home? Wow, most of us thrive in those learning environments, and now we have to do it all from home with the challenges of internet and being alone? Whoa, that's a lot. This year has been full of uncertainty and chaos, but we can't change the way our lecturers are reacting to COVID and the shifts that are happening in teaching. And we can't change what's happening with regulations in the country. We can't even change how some of our friends are reacting to this, but we can change something. And that's how we react to change, which is everything. How do you choose to adapt to change right now is going to set a precedent that you can carry through your life. Are you going to be the game changers and rise to the occasion? Yes, pivoting from contact to remote learning can feel isolating, chaotic, messy, and demotivating. But that's because it's new to us. We did not make the choice to learn this way. We were just thrown in the deep end of the swimming pool and told to swim. So let's start by reframing that. I want all of you to take the time now to make a choice. Are you tapping into your potential to rise to the challenge and master your method, or are you tapping out? If you're in, well, let's get going. I'm thrilled you chose to advocate for your education and dreams today. Now that we are home, we need to set up a few things to facilitate learning. We need to create structure, goals, timetables, set boundaries, engage with friends that are going to hold us accountable, and we need to take accountability for everything that shows up in our lives that we have power over. Unfortunately, when it comes to learning, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. We're all individuals, and as such, we have different styles of learning. Let's try figure out the way you learn best. Maybe you need to create a study space. That means finding a quiet spot dedicated to studying in your room or in your house, putting everything you need at your fingertips in order to minimize distractions, and keeping that space tidy. This is going to create a physical boundary for distractions. So, what do you want from your study area? Is it peace, a quiet corner, having all the stationery you need at your fingertips, a hot water bottle when it gets cold, your desk, your textbooks, maybe a window to look out of, some calm music, whatever it is, think about how you can create your space. Then stick to your study plan. That includes your productivity window. Print it out, write it down, and put it somewhere you can see it. When you do this, you make it visible and it sinks into the subconscious way quicker as it enters through your retinals. Also, create virtual study groups, which leads me to my next point. Try create groups utilizing social media like WhatsApp. Try create professional groups there with people from your class. You can use Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype. You can elect a leader, create some group rules and goals, and discuss with each other on topics you're unclear of or that you need support with. We as humans crave social connection, so find a way to tailor this to suit your study needs. You can also use this platform to reach out to others for help or to share work. Then find what works for you, your learning hacks. Is this writing summaries of notes, which helps commit information to your subconscious? Is it using acronyms that allow you to recall large quantities of information in a short and easy way? Is it creating mind maps that synthesize topics and info into a condensed format? Do you like to record your notes and listen to them on your phone when you're busy? If you have to have a conversation with yourself because you're an auditory learner, do it! And always revise those notes. Lastly, it's extremely important that you try relax before working. Whether that means you take a few deep breaths, you go for a light walk somewhere else, or a little bit of exercise, anything that helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system is going to prime your body for memory retention. So it's going to make the learning process stick. It's going to make sure that you don't rock up to the exam and your mind goes blank because you were learning in a state of fear. Then we get our last one, clicking into student mode. I want you to have your working hours established for the day like they were your office hours, and I want you to get into student mode for them. Maybe that means dressing in a way that you take yourself seriously, or changing your posture. All these things are going to send a message to your brain that you're serious and ready to take action. So you need to start learning actively, be present when you're studying, really engage with the content, no matter what form it takes. Last but not least, it's really important that we're taking care of ourselves during this time. And that means taking care of our thoughts, our emotions, our bodies, and our relationships. So you need to prioritize your health. And that can take the shape of maybe hacking some of your happy chemicals, like dopamine, our reward chemical. That's when you tick that task off the to-do list, or you eat some really nourishing food, or you celebrate a small win. That's going to give you a happy chemical called dopamine as a reward. Then we get oxytocin, our love hormone. This is something you get just by hugging yourself. It releases a happy chemical known as oxytocin. The love hormone. It's great to have this hormone in your body. So you can get this from playing with a dog or a baby or holding a hand or hugging yourself or someone else or even giving or getting a compliment. Then we have our mood stabilizer, serotonin. You can get serotonin from meditating, from exercising, being in nature, or just having a little bit of time in the sun. And if you want some of our natural painkillers known as endorphins, you can get that from going for some good exercise or doing a walkout, smelling some amazing smells, watching really great comedies or things that make you laugh, eating delicious dark chocolate. That's going to give you some endorphins. Now, let's try reframe some of our thoughts. Because there's been a lot of fear-mongering and negativity out there, it's easy to get caught up in that. But let's find the good in the situation, such as our recorded lectures. This just makes revision so much easier now. Also, it can be a pro learning from your own space and being comfortable in it. You also get to study at your own pace. You get to choose your productivity window and maximize your study times. You get to have a flexible schedule, and you can help each other out by teaching and supporting one another during this time. Also, it's amazing that you're developing new online skills, which is going to be an asset because lots of jobs are transitioning into remote fields and incorporating flexi time schedules into their operations. Now you're going to have the skills and experience, which is going to serve you in the future. Just some last happy things. I want you to surround yourself with light by getting into the sun. I want you to smile more. This is going to create positive emotional bias in the brain. Humor improves the immune system, so stop watching really sad movies and watch funny ones when you have free time. Exercise boosts our mood, so get out there and move your body. And don't watch too much TV or series because it turns the mind off. Also, find people in your life that inspire you. I want you to surround yourself with the people that light you up, support you, and inspire you to be the best version of yourself. So, here are some resources should you want to look at some videos on YouTube, the Pomodoro Technique, maybe you want to join the support groups Lockdown Warriors or Coping with COVID, head to CPUT's Student Counseling page. So you've been given various tools to create your own learning system that reflects your values and wants. It's now time to organize this system and put it into practice in a logical and clear way that works for you. So take the time now to do that. Find what feels good and right for your method of learning and then master it. Remember, by valuing your time this way, you're showing yourself you matter. Your dreams matter, your education matters, and you're getting closer to that future self. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you got something out of this. Goodbye, everybody.